It's been a welcome distraction from the onslaught of coronavirus headlines. The Twitter account that's been rating just about everyone who's anyone on TV news, not for the content of their coverage, but for the room they deliver the content from. The account is called Room Rater, and there have been some perfect scores, like Senator Elizabeth Warren, whose dog Bailey jumped her up to a 10 out of 10, and World Central Kitchen's Jose Andres, quote, well-lit, feeds thousands. There have been some pretty low scores, too, like Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who got a 1 out of 10 for what the Room Rater called a hostage video, or like Lady Gaga, who got 2 points for her lamp and, quote, that's it. But Room Rater is also open to improvements, like from former Congressman Beto O'Rourke, who started with 0 points for this cave-like shot, in which Room Rater asked him to organize rescue mission. Blink twice if you can hear me, but ended up with a 9 out of 10 when he moved out of the basement, because who doesn't love a redemption story? The site is the brainchild of Claude Taylor and Jesse Barre, and Claude joined me yesterday to talk about it. Claude, it's great to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So how many people have said to you what I've been thinking? Why didn't I think of this first?
About 4,020.
Give or take a few.
Give or take. We just started tweeting what everybody else was already doing. I was on the phone with my girlfriend, who's actually in Vancouver, and we were making comments about people's background. And we just said, let's make an account, let's call it Room Rater, and here we are.
Okay, so I did a little checking out on you. You used to work for Bill Clinton and sort of in days gone by, and you're not a huge Trump fan. So before I even delved into this, I'm saying there's going to be a bias. And the first thing I came upon was Ann Coulter, for whom you gave a 0, pretty much what you'd expect. Puke in a big TV, she gets a 0. But then I saw a local guy, a Democrat, who didn't do too well, too, Seth Moulton, lose the flags. This is not the Roosevelt Room. Keep the sailboat and let's see the mantle, add art, maybe paint. Are you conscious of being scrupulously fair? Because you're getting those kind of reviews.
Well, we rule with an iron whim. So we do, the world, everyone has their bias. There's no such thing as subjectivity. Everything is through the eye of the beholder.
Well, I think you're fair, I have to say, even fairer sometimes than I'd like. Now, if you were giving advice, and you sort of do, even if it's inadvertently, what are the critical elements of, like, high scores there, Claude?
Well, the best rooms tend to have something which mine doesn't. This is like a 6, maybe a 7, okay? Good rooms, the better rooms, have depth. You start it at the presenter, and you move backwards so you can see the art on the walls and maybe a bookcase at the end. Or not a bookcase, but you can see an interesting lamp. Art, color, plants, but depth.
Well, it seems to me you're giving short shrift to the bookcase thing. Here are a few of them, from Fareed Zakaria to British journalist John Sweeney to Richard Haas from the Council on Foreign Relations. Almost everybody has a bookcase. And, you often feel, I don't know if you do, like they bought the books so that they could impress you. Do you not get that feeling from time to time?
Certainly. It's frequently an issue. One has to be very careful to avoid staging, okay? So in this category, if we see a bookcase with color-coded books, like you've got the blues, the reds, the greens, whatever, that's an automatic 3-point deduction. And maybe that person has read the books, maybe, but that is not a working person's library. Look at... if you don't mind my saying, a correspondent from another network,
sure,
John Dickerson.
Yeah,
impressive library that he has categorized by subject matter. That is a real library. It's his library. There's no staging. Another issue besides the color coding of books is watch out for too many horizontal books.
Oh yeah.
It's not how books are used.
Well, I can one-up you there. I'm watching CNN yesterday, and this guy, Abdul El Sayed, who was involved in health stuff, but he also ran in the Democratic primary for governor of Michigan. Not only were his books horizontal, but the horizontal pile were his own books called, I wrote it down, Healing Politics. That's like a big deduction, right?
Okay. It is. Specifically, you're allowed to have one copy of your promo book on display. It's expected. If you're an author, you published a book, you got it published, you get to show one book. You show two books, it's an automatic 3-point deduction.
Does anybody plead for a higher score or no?
Daily.
Really?
We've gotten cash offers.
From anybody in high places or no?
Yes.
Okay, you're not going to tell me who, obviously, are you? I didn't think so. So, Claude, we got to end with the obvious. I thought you were a little generous to yourself before when you gave yourself a 6 or a 7. Take a look at yourself for just a second there and try to be as honest as you can before I let you go. What do you think that's worth?
You know, it's a flat bookcase. It doesn't have depth to it. It doesn't. I could angle it and get another point. Okay, it's a 5 or 6.
I'd say it's a 5, but I'd give you a point for the glasses. You look good, so let's make it 6.5. Claude, you're doing a great service for America. Best to you and your girlfriend. Thanks for your work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Claude also offered up a rating today for Dr. Anthony Fauci during his Senate testimony. Quote, the room we need, wise, experienced, horizontal books are allowed, depth of knowledge, 10 out of 10, hashtag save us, Dr. Fauci. Guess he was right that no one's impartial. I should also note my colleague Adam Riley got a rating a few weeks back too. Quote, dark, pretty awful, Saved by Tintin, +4 for a total 7 out of 10. As NECN's Sue O'Connell replied, thank God for the bonus points. Believe it or not, Claude told me right before the interview he didn't even have Skype until a couple of weeks ago. But you can rate his Skype room on my Twitter account at Jim Braude. I'm sure he'd love your thoughts.